Right, let's start today's session. Right. So, good evening to everybody. So, this is the first session of .NET Core package course. So, in this session, I'm going to give complete information related to .NET Core and especially what is .NET Core and .NET Framework. What is the main difference between .NET Framework and .NET Core Framework? And in .NET Core package, what subject I'm going to cover, I'll discuss clearly. So this session is completely belongs to .NET Core. First of all, you should understand what is .NET. Okay. So later we will discuss in this total .NET package, what subject I'm going to cover. Okay. So .NET is the product of Microsoft. Yes, it is the product of Microsoft. Okay. .NET was announced by Bill Gates in the year of 2000. .NET is the product of Microsoft. .NET was announced by Bill Gates in the year of 2000. Okay. Yeah. .NET is the product of Microsoft. .NET was announced by Bill Gates in the year of 2000. The first version of .NET. The first version of .NET was released in the year of 2002. So it is a product of Microsoft. It's announced by Bill Gates in the year of 2000. The first version of .NET was released in the year of 2002. So .NET is a framework tool. What is .NET mean? It is a framework tool. Yes. .NET is a framework tool. So Microsoft people providing us .NET framework tool to develop the different types of applications. By using this .NET framework tool, we are going to design and develop different types of application. Okay. So from 2002, okay, I said that .NET was released into the market in the year of 2002. It's a framework tool. From 2002 to 2015. So .NET framework tool, it's completely platform dependent, which completely support on Windows operating system. From 2002 to 2015, .NET completely platform dependent style. That means .NET is a framework tool. I said this framework allows us to write the application code which can be run on only platform dependent style. Platform dependent style means which can run on only Windows operating system, which is not support to run on other operating system, only Windows operating system. Okay. So that's what we can say from 2002 to 2015, .NET framework completely based on platform dependent style, which will run only on Windows operating system. From 2016 to till date, okay, 2025 till date, .NET is completely core platform. That means .NET core framework they released. Microsoft announced .NET core in the year of 2016, the first version available into the market 2016 till 2025. Till now, we are using .NET Core framework, which will make completely platform independent style. Platform independent style, which can run on all operating systems, including Windows, Unix, Linux, and so on. Other operating systems also possible. That is platform independent style. So there are both scenarios are there. Completely you can learn .NET framework or .NET Core framework. .NET framework, if you focus, which will makes completely platform dependent, which will run your .NET applications on only Windows operating system. If you go .NET Core framework, platform independent style, that means which will run on all operating systems, including Windows, Linux, okay, all these operating system possible. So our main complete focus is in these sessions, .NET Core only. Nowadays, most of the students and companies people are recommend to learn .NET Core, which makes completely .NET application code on platform independent style, which will run on any operating system. So that's what my focus is, completely .NET Core versions I'm going to tell you. No matter in .NET Core or .NET Framework, what subjects I'm going to cover, all the subjects I'm going to teach based on core platform only. But first, at the beginning of programming or coding part, I will show you how to write the coding using .NET Framework style as well as .NET Core style. Both I'll try to include so that you will get clarity. Only the difference is this one only. But application building and coding styles and everything will be same almost in .NET Core as well as .NET Framework process. Not much more differences. Core means platform independent style. Framework means platform dependent style. And .NET released the first version of .NET in the year of 2002. From 2002 to 2015, Microsoft only they announced .NET Framework libraries only, which makes platform dependent style. But from 2016 to 2025 till today, we are using .NET Core platform, that is platform dependent style. Okay. But here there are so many .NET Framework versions and core versions also there. I'll come across that complete versions and everything. But before that, you must get clarity in this .NET Core package. So I'm going to cover these many subjects. First subject is C#.NET. You must and should aware what subject you are going to learn in .NET package completely. First subject is C#.NET. Next subject is ASP.NET Core. Third one is ASP.NET Core MVC. Model, View, Control. And fourth one is ASP.NET Core Entity Framework. These subject also I'm going to cover. And fifth one is ASP.NET Core Web API. ASP.NET Core Web API. And sixth one is SQL Server. This is the database tool. SQL Server. Microsoft SQL Server also we can call it as. So these are the total 6 subjects I'm going to cover in .NET package course. Okay. ADO.NET is in the middle of C#.NET we will be covered. Okay, database communication purpose, there is a ADO.NET tool also there. That also I'm going to cover in C#.NET point of view. First of all, you should understand what are these subjects and each subject purpose actually. C#.NET, ASP.NET Core, MVC, Entity Framework, Web API, and SQL Server. So this is completely .NET Core package. Even after completion of this demo session, my team will send a syllabus copy complete course content regarding this programming language and frameworks and database, everything. Okay. First, let me discuss what is C#.NET. So listen, this is the most important subject in complete entire .NET core package, because if you want to learn ASP.NET Core and then MVC, Entity Framework, Web API, first of all, you must and should have the strong knowledge on C#.NET. So without having knowledge of C#.NET, you cannot go with ASP.NET Core and MVC, Entity Framework and Web API. Okay, that's what my complete focus on first 45 working days to 2 months completely on C#.NET. Once you will become good at C#.NET, using this C#.NET, we can develop applications and web applications using ASP.NET Core with MVC standard and entity framework, web API, and also including with database. Okay, so this is the main thing. So let me talk about first programming, that is C#.NET language. So what is C#.NET, sorry? C#.NET C#.NET is a programming language. Yes. In every application development, compulsory programming language part is there. So C#.NET is a programming language which is used to write coding part for the application development. Coding part for the application development. Yes. C#.NET is a programming language which is used to write coding part for the application development. So in entire the .NET core, to write complete logic and writing coding purpose, we use a language called C#.NET. It's a programming language. In every application development, programming language part should be there. Without having programming knowledge, we cannot develop any application. No? So that is one of the languages, C#.NET. I'll discuss about Microsoft.NET Framework programming languages. Actually, Microsoft.NET Framework provides or offers to the developers to use different types of languages like C#, VB, J#, F#, okay, JScript, C++, .NET, and many of the languages. But why we are choosing C#.NET means it is one of the most popular and famous .NET programming languages among them. So that's what we are going to cover, complete coding with C#.NET standards only. In real time, maximum 90+% of the people are using C#.NET coding to fulfill their requirement in the .NET core. That's what we choose. C#.NET is a programming language. Okay, fine. But only programming language through, we cannot do much more things. So as I said that programming language through, we can write some logic part or application coding part. Okay, but we can't fulfill the complete websites or complete web application. Suppose our main intention is in real time to build some websites or web applications. So that's the reason. So for building ASP.NET or building web applications and website purpose, we use ASP.NET Core. Okay. So what is ASP.NET? First of all, ASP stands for Active Server Page. ASP means Active Server Page. ASP.NET means. So ASP.NET Core is a web application development framework. ASP.NET Core is a web application development framework. So that means using ASP.NET Core framework, we are going to build web applications, means websites. So using ASP.NET framework or ASP.NET Core framework, Using ASP.NET Core framework, we can build web applications. So web application means what? Very simple. The application which will provide the services over the web is called web application. The application which will provide the services over the web is called web applications. Yes, in generally, we are getting lot of services through online applications like Flipkart, Amazon, and many banking applications. We are getting services. So the services which are providing to the customers or clients through website or through web or internet is called web application. Especially using .NET framework or .NET Core framework to build a web application, we use a framework called ASP.NET Core framework. ASP stands for Active Server Page. ASP.NET is also called as server-side technology. Server-side technology means completely building web applications possible using ASP.NET Core. Fine. But nowadays, all are using, not only I'm speaking about .NET development, even in Java development as well as Python full stack development, people are using for web application development one architectural or design pattern that is called MVC. MVC is nothing but Model View Controller. So even in .NET Core, to build web applications, we are following an architectural pattern that is called MVC architectural pattern, Model View Control. So that's the reason even ASP.NET Core, after we are going to cover complete logics or complete web application building style with ASP.NET Core MVC model only. Okay. So what is MVC? MVC is nothing but it is a 3-layer architecture. That means model, M for model. Model represent what you know? Database access layer, we can say that. V for view. V for view. V is nothing but business access layer. Business access layer. C for controller. Sorry, V for presentation layer actually. So presentation layer it is. Presentation layer. C for controller, that is completely action methods are involved here. That means it is called as business access layer. Business access layer. So in ASP.NET Core MVC, we are following in web application development all the time model view control logic. That means MVC pattern. So M stands for model. It's considered as like database access layer. Completely database related stuff we are going to include in model access layer. V is nothing but presentation layer. What we are going to see as an end user while accessing the website. For the first time when we visit website, so we are going to see something design on the screen that is called presentation layer. So that purpose we use view. And control means MVC. C for controller or control. That means controller is nothing but business access layer. Means complete logic part we are going to write in controller business access layer only. So model database access layer purpose, we are going to use SQL Server. Yes, we are going to use SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server. Before going to start ASP.NET web application development, we must get clarity about a programming language that is C#.NET as well as SQL Server. After completion of these two subjects discussion only, we will be start ASP.NET Core and MVC, Entity Framework and Web API and so on, all other frameworks. So VV is nothing but presentation layer. So that means UI technologies. In the view logic, we are going to learn UI technologies. Yes. In our curriculum, we are going to discuss UI technologies basics also. That means HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, and then Bootstrap. These UI technologies also I'm going to cover complete basics, how much it is required for our ASP.NET web application development. Because in the ASP.NET web application development, a person should have the strong knowledge on designing as well as database also. So for database purpose, we are going to cover Microsoft SQL Server, and designing purpose, we are going to use UI technologies like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and jQuery Bootstrap. Okay. So business access layer is nothing but completely C#.NET relevant code is there. Already we focus first initial days of C#.NET only, no? So that's what obviously will get the strong knowledge on C#.NET. So this is complete scenario of ASP.NET MVC implementation. Our main focus is completely web application development. To develop web applications in the .NET platform, you must have the knowledge on one programming language, that is C#.NET, one database knowledge, that is SQL Server, complete designing knowledge is required, that is UI technologies like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, and Bootstrap basics. And using these all, we are going to develop one website or web application implementation using ASP.NET Core MVC. But in the part of ASP.NET Core MVC web application development, we also introduced entity framework. What is the use of entity framework, sir? Again, because you are saying ASP.NET Core and MVC is used to develop web applications. But what is ASP.NET Core Entity Framework role? Okay, ASP.NET Framework Entity Framework role is what? What is the use of Entity Framework? So Entity Framework is nothing but what without hitting or without writing complete database queries, that means SQL queries, we are going to do some operations completely. Yes, there is a ORM tool kind of things are there. Auto-generated SQL statements possible in ASP.NET Core Entity Framework. So without writing raw SQL statements, if you want to generate database code, then we use ASP.NET Core Entity Framework. So this is completely related to ASP.NET Core MVC platform only. So entity framework is used to generate, entity framework is used to generate complete SQL statements without hitting the request to the database or without writing raw SQL statement. So it is completely object relational mapper, ORM tool kind of thing is there. So this is ORM. ORM is nothing but object relational mapper. Object relational mapper. See, in traditional ASP.NET or classic ASP.NET framework, so as a programmers, we are going to write some SQL statements to do some operations against the database, like inserting records purpose, we write insert query, update record purpose, we write update query, deleting record purpose, we write delete queries. But when it comes to ASP.NET Core Entity Framework, it will act as a object relational mapper tool, ORM tool. It is object relational mapper. So using this object relational mapper tool, .NET developers to work completely with relational data using without having raw SQL statements, directly they can produce their SQL query. That means for that they need to write some C#.NET logic only, and after that they need to make migrations and migrate automatically relevant SQL Server tables and database will be create. We need not to write raw SQL statements directly while working with ASP.NET Entity Framework. So this is the advantage actually. In previously normal plain old ASP.NET technologies, generally programmers they were right to write SQL statements for retrieve the record purpose they pass select star from table name, or for inserting purpose they used to write insert queries, updating purpose they used to write update queries. But when it comes to ASP.NET Core Entity Framework, it is like ORM tool. ORM is nothing but Object Relational Mapper. With the help of C#.NET Logic, this ORM tool automatically produces SQL statements. Using that SQL statement, we can do database uh, relational operations. That is ASP.NET Core Entity Framework. So it is also a part of ASP.NET Core web development in our .NET package. Fine. What about ASP.NET Core Web API? Fine, sir. Using all like C#.NET programming language for coding purpose and SQL Server knowledge like database related stuff and presentation layer using designing, we built successfully one ASP.NET web applications. Right now, ASP.NET web application ready with us. But after ready with ASP.NET web applications, what is the need to use ASP.NET Core Web API? So what is this Web API actually? Okay. So what is an API? Let me discuss. So which is really important in real time, sir. So after building web applications without API, so there is no meaning to build a web application in any full stack development. So in the .NET development, for sure, you must and should learn ASP.NET Core Web API because after building or developing ASP.NET website, if you want to make your ASP.NET web application communicate with other application, compulsory what is need? API need. For generating APIs for ASP.NET Core web applications, we use ASP.NET Core Web API subject. So what is API means? API stands for, first of all, API stands for application programming interface. Application programming interface. Yes. So API stands for application programming interface. It's common thing in any web development. Even Python full stack development, we use REST API. Java full stack developer, they use RESTful services or RESTful web APIs. But .NET programmer, we are .NET programmers. In .NET full stack development, we have to learn compulsory web API. So API means application programming interface. What is exactly API means? API is a software tool. API is a software tool which enables our ASP.NET web application, which enables our ASP.NET web application to communicate with the other application, communicate with other applications. Yes, compulsory in real time scenario. Our application must and should interact or communicate with other application. Then only we can make the transaction successfully. I'll tell you one quick example. For example, we are using nowadays mobile devices and mobile applications. In our mobile applications, we are going to use so many applications like, for example, Swiggy app. Swiggy app can be used to making some food order. Okay. After placing the food order, so we need to make the payment. So for that making payment purpose, our application must and should communicate with our concerned banking application. So request and response should be takes place in between two applications successfully. Then only our task will be finished over the web. So that's what. So if your application should communicate with other application, what will be the play important role means API will play the important role. So that's what I'm saying. We can develop ASP.NET Core web applications, okay. But how that application is communicating or interacting with other application is the matter. For that, we need to generate APIs. For generating APIs, we should learn what technology, web API framework again. This is ASP.NET related framework only. Say ASP.NET Core web API. So web API is another subject which can able to generate APIs. API stands for application programming interface. So API is a software tool which enables our ASP.NET web application to communicate with other applications. So compulsory, it is mandatory. So because nowadays the many applications without making request and getting response from the other applications, we cannot fulfill the transactions. So that's what it's mandatory to learn or to have the idea about web API. It is most important in real-time web application development. So finally, I'm going to discuss about Microsoft SQL Server. See, sir, SQL Server is completely database related tool. So in the .NET platform, every time while working with C#.NET as well as ASP.NET web application, compulsory our focus is to deal with the database. So because database is the one of the main important resource in every technology learning point of view. Why? Because you must have the database knowledge, at least one database. It can be a SQL server, or it can be a MySQL, it can be Oracle, it can be MongoDB, it can be what we can say PostgreSQL or SQLite, any database. But why we are specifically introduce or include in this .NET Core Platform SQL Server means it's a product of Microsoft. Yes, most of the .NET developers prefer to learn Microsoft SQL Server to deal with the database operations. For suppose you are the full stack Java developer, for example, obviously Java people will prefer what? Oracle. For suppose you are a Python full stack developer, Python web developers ultimately they recommend to use MySQL. So it's a depends on combination actually. But it doesn't make sense. Can't we connect with MySQL using .NET? Yes, possible. Can't we connect with Oracle? Yes, possible. So using .NET, we can communicate with any database like MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server, or PostgreSQL, and everything. It's possible, sir, no doubt at all. But majority of the people, just because of SQL Server is the Microsoft product, because this is MS SQL Server, Microsoft related. So all the .NET applications are recommend to use SQL Server only in the real time. That's what we prefer to learn SQL Server. It's completely database related stuff. We are going to store and manage the data in our application development. If you want to store customer data or client data or manage the customer data or client data, compulsory you should have the database knowledge. In interview, they might ask the database related questions also. For that, you must and should learn what? SQL Server compulsory. So Microsoft SQL Server it is. So this is complete subjects which I am going to cover in .NET Core Platform. So .NET is a framework tool. In this .NET framework tool, we are having lot of subjects like programming language called C#.NET. ASP.NET Core is nothing but web server technology or web application framework. This framework through we can build web applications, complete web applications with MVC pattern only we are going to build. MVC means model view controller. 3-layer approach it is. Model means database related. For that we are going to use SQL Server subject. View is nothing but presentation layer. For that, we are going to learn UI technologies. Yes, obviously, for few sessions, I'm going to conduct before going to start ASP.NET development. We will focus on HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap basics also. And controller means complete logic purpose. C#.NET language we are going to use for logic. An entity framework is a ORM tool. Without writing raw SQL statements, we can write C#.NET logic and make them the database queries and database relational objects. And web API is used to build APIs or generate APIs just because to communicate our ASP.NET web application to other applications, which makes transactions successful in real time. SQL Server is another subject which purely related to database to store and manage the data. So you will have the strong knowledge in .NET Core package course, SQL Server database knowledge you will get, UI technology means designing knowledge you will get, programming knowledge you will get, and ASP.NET web application development knowledge also you will get. So once after completion of .NET Core course, you can keep in your resume .NET Core developer. So in that we have to say programming language as C#.NET and ASP.NET Core, MVC, and Entity Framework, Web API. This is Web Application Frameworks. SQL Server is database tool. So ultimately you will get a good opportunities in a job trials for sure. So this is the basic information which I am passing. .NET is completely product of Microsoft. Okay, so .NET first version of .NET was released in the year of 2002. But when it comes to from 2002 to 2015, they were released many versions of .NET framework only, which makes platform dependent style. But from depends on market demand, Microsoft decided that from 2016 to till 2025, there were released .NET Core versions, means platform independent like Java. So already Java initially from the initial version of Java versions, it was completely platform independent style. So just because of that only, Microsoft announced platform independent style patterns from 2016 to 2025. So now .NET is also equal to Java, which makes platform independent style, which can run on any platform without fail. Okay. So next, this is complete basic introduction, which I discussed today. In the tomorrow session, we'll discuss what is .NET framework exactly, what is .NET Core framework, and what versions are there. .NET framework version from 2020 to 2002 to 2015, and what core versions frameworks are there 2016 to till 2025. I'll discuss, and which version I'm going to cover, like in the context of C#, .NET, ASP.NET, what version I'm going to cover also. I'll clearly disclose complete information in the tomorrow session. Versions of .NET framework, versions of .NET core versions, and after that we'll start .NET introduction part like framework versions, execution process, everything we'll discuss in detail. Okay, and complete coding. I'm going to use complete coding purpose. I'm going to use Visual Studio 2022 editor tool. That editor introduction also I'll give. So this is first demo session. So I hope you understand what subject I'm going to cover in this .NET Core. And the duration of complete .NET Core course is the minimum 4 months, maximum 4.5 months. Because I am going to cover in this 4.5 months duration, C#, .NET, ASP.NET Core, MVC, Entity Framework, Web API, and SQL Server. But somebody looking for only C#, .NET, for example, if you need or if your requirement is only C#, .NET programming language, the duration of this only C# .NET programming language is 45 working days to 50 working days. The duration is. So all subject related PDF documentation, and every day the session is going to be recorded. Even this session also is going to be recorded now. So all recorded videos we will upload to your Google Drive. That video lectures are coming to daily basis after completion of sessions to your Google Drive. That is completely lifetime access, along with complete PDF material and everything in clear picture with each and every topic we'll discuss clearly with logically and complete coding style. And that same recorded video I'll upload to in your Google Drive. So you have to watch daily basis. So this is from our side. So today just a basic demonstration we completed. What is what I discussed, what subject I'm going to cover in .NET Core development. So it's your turn. If you have any questions related to this session, you can please feel free to ask me. So I'll clarify your doubts. From tomorrow onwards, we will focus on completely. So C# .NET main focus. First initial days, our complete focus on C# .NET only after completion of 2 or 3 days introduction to .NET Core versions. Okay, because you must and should have the knowledge on C# .NET. After that only you can get the clarity about ASP.NET. Yes, ADO.NET is ActiveX data object. So purely that is completely platform dependent style. So C# .NET with ADO.NET also will cover, especially for communicating with the database. In C# .NET orientation, ADO.NET will be covered. In ASP.NET Core orientation, we will go for lot of MVC patterns are there, no? So entity framework related stuff I'll cover. ADO.NET means what you know? You have to pass raw SQL statements directly. Entity framework, what you know? Without passing raw SQL statements with the help of ORM tool using C#.NET, we will generate database queries automatically. That is the main difference. You will come to know slowly. Any questions regarding this session, please go through it. You just feel free to ask the questions. So I'm ready to clarify your doubts.
Good evening, sir. Is there a difference between C# and C#.NET?
Please speak loud.
Is there a difference between C# and C#.NET?
No, it's the same. C#.NET is a programming language.
Okay,
It's a .NET language.
okay. And C# is different or same?
Same. Not a
Okay,
difference. C# and VB and J# and F# and Iron Ruby, Iron Python, Windows PowerShell. These are the .NET framework languages only. But in that we are choosing C#. It's a powerful language, which is most commonly used language in real-time web application development for coding purpose. That's what we are going to learn C#.NET on.
here the API means that RESTful API. You are
Exactly. Same
okay.
as RESTful API. Java people, how they use RESTful services. So
Mm,
same web services kind of thing we are going to use in web API in .NET.
okay. One more doubt, sir. In the application, they write unit testing, right?
Mm.
That we do in the syllabus.
Yes, obviously.
Okay.
Unit testing with C#.NET.
Okay.
Our team will send complete course content with regard of C#.NET and ASP.NET and SQL Server, what content I'm going to cover. Along with this demo video lecture link, you will receive that completely course content link also. Please go through that, you will get clarity. Any questions apart from this, anybody?
Hi sir, Nandu
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Yeah, actually I'm working on .NET Core. I just
yeah.
want to know about SP.NET Core, MVC and Web API. So
Mm.
within short time, so will there be any possibility like only focusing on these two courses?
No, right now it's not at this moment. Why? Because this batch is scheduled today onwards. So for all who are looking for a .NET Core package, so that's what our focus is in this batch, especially C#.NET only first 45 days to 50 days we are focusing. But you have an option to enroll for the
Mm.
ASP.NET Core and MVC only if you need. Why? Because already for my previous batches, which I started already 2-3 months back, 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. batches are going. Okay.
Hmm.
So they are ready to start their ASP.NET Core MVC web development very soon after 15 to 20 days maximum. We'll announce new batch at 8 p.m. so that you can enroll for that ASP.NET Core MVC. Because
Okay.
for them, I have completed already SQL Server as well as C#.NET. They are ready to develop web application with ASP.NET Core platform. So better to join in that batch. But make sure that you must have the strong knowledge on C#.NET coding as well as SQL Server.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Then only I'll recommend you to learn starts with ASP.NET MVC. Otherwise, you will be face big trouble again. Waste of time to learn.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's true. And Web API also will be covered in that,
Obviously,
right?
Web API. That means the batch is completely ASP.NET Core, MVC, Entity Framework, Web API, all package one set.
Yeah.
Mm. For this, prerequisite subjects are ASP, C#.NET and SQL Server mandatory.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what will be the timing? Means how much time you will be teaching every?
I'm not sure about that batch because they are still in the SQL Server learning process. We completed recently C#.NET and half of the portion also we completed SQL Server. Once SQL Server advanced topics once completed for them, they are ready to be starts with their ASP.NET Core. We announce for that separate batch. So whenever the separate batch will be there, our team will intimate you. Then obviously you can feel free to join the demo lectures again.
Okay.
Yeah.
They will directly contact us. We don't need to contact them, right?
Yes. Mostly you have joined with your mail ID and valid phone number, no? So our team will
Yes.
intimate you once we schedule the batch of ASP.NET Core.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Fine. Thank you.
Because the process of learning should be order only. So if you are new to the .NET Core or .NET Learner, so obviously I recommend to starts with C#.NET only, then after SQL Server, then after ASP.NET. This is the order. Any questions? Yeah. So thanks for attending this demo lecture. I hope you understand the each and every subject purpose I explained. That's it in the .NET Core framework versions. And tomorrow we'll continue from here onwards. At least a minimum 3 to 4 demos you try to attend regularly so that you will get clarity. After that, you can decide. Have a nice time. See you tomorrow. Again, use the same link and same time, 6 p.m.